TGIF. Wow, is that too old to say now?
No.
No?
People still say that.
Really?
I think so. Isn't there still a restaurant too that's TGIF Fridays? Or is that gone now?
I don't know.
Which always kind of thought it was weird because thank God it's Fridays. Because it was called TGIF Fridays, wasn't it, the restaurant?
I don't.
Which wouldn't make sense because it would be like, thank God it's Fridays.
Friday.
Anyway, thank God it's Friday.
Anyway, welcome.
Thank goodness it's Friday. Thank gosh it's Friday.
Good darn morning to you. You're looking awesome this morning. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to KC Security for sponsoring the show every single morning. They're awesome. They are such a good community partner.
I know. I don't know whether or not Nathan is coming on the show on Monday with Jeannie from Bonsu.
He said he's never going on camera.
But I thought we were trying to get him on camera all this time. We never have had Nathan on.
No.
Nathan, you should come on the show with Jeannie on Monday.
Too.
I'm also talking to
for Bonsu, by the way.
Yeah, for Bonsu. I'm also getting this is gonna be fun. Do you know the Sue's Got Talent, that competition, and the winner Adrian Sullivan?
Yes.
And all of the winners, the top place people and bands, are going to be performing for an evening for Bonsu, like an evening of the winners from. I know.
Isn't that awesome?
It is, because there are really great acts.
That's such a good idea.
I know. It's Barbara Ranievich and Mario, Nacarado, and so they put it together.
That's such a great idea.
So they're teaming up with Bonsu. Anyway, so I got a hold of Adrian Sullivan, and he's going to come in and he's going to be a guest on the show and sing. I think he's going to do an original tune, He was the winner. Yeah, he won the grand.
Ooh, I can't wait.
So we're going to get a little clip. I think he's going to sing an original tune, acoustic guitar, and then that'll give us a little preview to the evening with Bonsu that will feature the winners of the Sue's Got Talent.
Awesome. It's still swirling around Harry and Meghan. I think it will forever. You know what? They've given up the staff at Frogmore Cottage.
Frogmore Cottage, which is a castle.
Yeah. Actually, it's a cottage.
Is it a cottage?
Yeah, considering there is a castle.
Have you seen pictures?
Yes.
Is it cute?
It's cute.
Wait a minute, is Frogmore the one that, what's his name, had the affairs in? Did you watch The Crown? If you watched The Crown, you might remember. I'm pretty sure that Princess Margaret's husband used to go to Frogmore Cottage to hunt and stuff, and that's where he brought his mistress.
Really?
I think so. So that's what they got to live in. Oh, there's a picture of it.
Yeah, I was.
That's it. That's the place.
Isn't that cute?
Margaret hated it. She wouldn't go there.
Really? Yeah. I don't blame her. It's interesting because a lot of the UK folks are very divided. It feels like sort of the younger people understand why he's doing what he's doing, and Meghan, and stepping down from royal life as a senior royal, and the older people are saying it's very disrespectful. But you know what? They've only been married, have they had their first year anniversary?
Oh, I don't know.
Anyway.
That's your business.
Yeah, so...
The royals and the Kardashians is all you.
Yeah. The Frogmore Cottage was redesigned. Like apparently from bottom to top.
Oh, because it was very stony and rustic.
Yeah, very old-fashioned, and so they renovated the whole place. The Queen gave it to them as a gift.
Oh.
They renovated the whole place, and now they're not going to use it so much.
And they got rid of their staff. I wonder how much staff you would have at a cottage.
Well, she had a nanny. There was a chef. There was a property manager. There was like a butler type of person. And then some other part-timers, had to,
imagine that life.
Shine the shoes.
Imagine what that would be like. But then
I feel awkward.
You'd feel awkward having those people around you?
Well, yeah, I don't.
I think maybe if you grew up with it, though.
Yeah,
imagine,
for sure.
Right?
I guess.
Hey, it's Ditch Your New Year's Resolution Day, so just, forget it. All about it.
You know that weight loss? Eat some candy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do it.
And if you're Melania Trump, we all know that her resolution was peace on the world.
Peace on the world.
So today, if we're not piss on the world.
Thank you.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
Well, it's not cable. It's streaming. We can say whatever we can say whatever the heck we want. Anyway, so it's Ditch Your Resolutions Day. So Melania is no longer saying peace on the world. She's saying screw everybody.
Have you met my husband?
That's your New Year's resolution.
We just heard, too, that Harry Styles is going to headline the pre-Super Bowl show. So in Miami.
He doesn't get to do the actual halftime show?
No, so he's before, and Demi Lovato is going to be doing the national anthem. And of course, we know that J-Lo and Shakira
are the halftime show. Yes, if Donald Trump lets them sing, in Spanish.
Yeah, because they're both Latinas, so maybe
and we
Donald.
know how he feels about the Latinos coming into America.
Right.
They're taking over the sports now.
Yeah, they are, and they're all rapists and drug dealers.
Yeah, that's what Donald Trump says. Also, hey, okay,
I want you to talk about the lady drawer. Can we do that now?
Okay. So this guy. Michael, if you can pull up an image, I don't know if you'll find this or not, called The Lady Drawer. It's trending on Twitter right now because a gentleman, I don't know who this guy is, but he just said, he took a picture of a drawer in his bathroom, in his home, saying that he believes that any gentleman who's going to be entertaining women guests, whether they be family, friends, or, overnight stays, that there should be a drawer dedicated to female guests.
Which is thoughtful.
That should be fully stocked at all times. Okay, well that's the male drawer on the right, which has a broken comb, a can of beer, and a deodorant, and some Dawn dish soap.
So there you go.
The lady drawer on the left, you might notice, has some feminine hygiene products, tampons. It's got an open pregnancy test box. Somebody's already been into his house and tried the pregnancy test box. It's also got some hygiene wipes. And if you look down on the bottom, you'll see that there's two things of nail polish remover in case one isn't enough. And if you look down on the bottom, you'll see there's a personal pleasuring device. And a hairbrush. Okay, so people are going crazy saying, you expect women to come into your home and share a personal, pleasuring device?
It's a sex toy.
A sex toy and a hairbrush. Share it. It's in the drawer. Who is this guy?
How many people does he have wandering around?
I can't imagine. I'm thinking that the woman who tried that pregnancy test probably had to escape from being.
Oh my gosh!
You go to somebody's house. Oh yes, there's a guest drawer there. Probably share the toothbrush too while you're at it.
Right?
The lady drawer. It's a nice idea.
The idea is
Shampoo,
awesome.
soap.
A little bit of hairspray, a toothbrush, and some toothpaste.
I also think some tampons and some feminine hygiene pads would be nice to have.
And then instead he puts a dildo in there. It's like
she
what?
Said it.
It's like seriously. Like, what is this, a communal?
I was being so careful.
You were trying to be careful, but I thought, you know what? Everybody knows what we're talking about. We're adults,
especially in Dildo, Nova Scotia, they know what we're talking about. Remember that whole story about Dildo, Nova Scotia? That was a fun time. We talked about that.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Dildo.
When you say it, it makes me laugh.
Right?
Okay,
it's
listen.
Kind of weird.
I learned something today. This day in history.
It's been a minute.
I didn't know so much about Prohibition.
No.
Listen, so on this day in 1920, it was the first day of Prohibition in the USA because of the 18th Amendment. And Prohibition happened. The Prohibition means no more drinking.
No
illegal,
booze
no
at
booze,
all.
No booze, right? It went in the US from 1920 to 1933.
What? They were dry for 13 years?
Now also, they weren't dry because they had bootleggers.
Right.
But listen, you know why Prohibition came in though? Because of women gained
suffragette?
The right of suffrage and the Christian temperance movement, right?
The Christian temperance one I can see, but the suffragettes?
Well, just because women were saying, men, stop getting drunk and abusing us.
And beating us. Oh, I see.
Empowering women. And alcohol was the demon. Anyway, and also because rationing during World War I. So there were rationing reasons as well.
Right.
But
there's a reason I wasn't born.
So then I started thinking, okay, that's the U.S. What about Canada? We had Prohibition before the U.S.
Really?
Nationally, Canada had Prohibition in 1918, but we only did it for 2 years nationally, 1918 to 1920.
Then we couldn't hack it anymore. Okay, give me a drink.
But Ontario, that was nationally.
Right.
Provincially and municipally, you could do your own thing.
Right.
In Ontario, Prohibition ran from 1916 to 1927.
Wow!
You're not ready for this one. In PEI, alcohol was illegal from 1901 to 1948.
Oh my goodness! Really?
No, see, and this is the thing.
That's weird.
They had their potatoes buried in the ground.
They're the Screech people.
Years. That's why they had Screech, because they were making their own out of potatoes. It's all making sense. They're kissing fish and they're hammered on Screech. Because
that's why.
They didn't have nice alcohol, like the good alcohol like the rest of the country did. They were making their own for 47 years.
Holy moly.
Now, my friends Bob and Peggy Cooper live in the house where they believe that there was some prohibition.
Still?
Because, no, there's a room in the back. It's an older home. In the dining room, there was a button. And it rang a bell in the back. And they figured that was so in case the cops were coming, you rang the bell and hid the booze.
Stop it.
That's the story that they figure.
Oh, that's cool.
Then also, I'm not going to mention who I'm related to that also had a family member who did that. But but a relative of mine remembers a certain person being a bootlegger, and in the basement there was a cupboard that had secret compartments where the alcohol was, and during Prohibition they served well-known judges, lawyers, police officers here in Sault Ste. Marie.
Oh, a scandal there!
Yeah,
Prohibition scandal in the Sault.
Isn't that interesting?
That's very interesting.
Here in Sault Ste. Marie.
I would love to see that little cupboard. Wouldn't that be cool?
With the little secret compartments.
Right?
I know. I'll introduce you to the person who has that story, and you can hear all about it.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
No one else can know. What else?
Who's on the show today?
Oh, that's a good question. Taste of Kenya. Now, here's the deal. I don't know if I can say the name. I can't. I'm not even going to attempt to say the name. There's an organization in town, okay? Janine Jefferson is part of it, and she's here on the show. And, for heaven's sakes. Now, I can't remember the names. Anyway, you're going to see the guests. Oh, I feel terrible. So, it's all about, they go to Africa for like 3 weeks.
Yes.
You do these excursions. Yeah. Holly Wicked. Oh, for heaven's sakes, thank you. It's Holly Wicked and Janine Jefferson came in to visit. They've been to Africa multiple times.
Yes.
It's a 3-week excursion. I don't know if they still do this through this particular agent and stuff, but you know you're going for humanitarian reasons.
Right.
So they do a fundraiser to help them raise money, and the money goes right to what they do in Africa, the work they do in Africa. They pay their own way. They pay their own way, all these people who are involved in this group. Anyway, they put on this fundraiser called Taste of Kenya. It's sold out. But they came on the show anyway to talk about
so interesting
what they do, and they brought photos, and it's a great interview.
Sounds very inspiring.
And then here's another one that's inspiring. Those darn kids from St. Mary's College are at it again with their Heaven Sent campaign. Started years ago by Bob Denham. He taught me English at St. Mary's College in the day.
And it was Pennies from Heaven.
Pennies from Heaven.
Right.
Now it's called Heaven Sent, guys. $19,900 they raised in one.
Phenomenal.
And that's like in Luann, just over a month. High school students and their teachers.
Terrific. Congratulations.
Yeah, coming up. Plus, she has the news. Lots on this wonderful Friday on Mornings with Luann and Tim. We'll be right back.
Home, lighting is just as important as style.
With PowerView Motorization from Hunter Douglas, you can schedule your shades to light up the room, create privacy, or both, automatically. No hands required.
So your shades will always be in the right place at the right time in style. And it's only from Hunter Douglas.
Past year we've been celebrating our 65th anniversary, dating back to services originating in our community in 1954, which is quite some time ago. It's been a great opportunity this past year to recognize the pioneers, the stakeholders that worked tirelessly to create what we are today. I'm grateful for everything that the families 65 years ago and the people that assembled the organization have done in order for us to achieve the success that we're experiencing 65 years later.
This is ONNtv.
it again.
Welcome back to Mornings with Luann and Tim. I'm joined by two friends of mine. It's always nice to have real friends on the show. That is... As opposed to the people I don't like. No, okay. This is Janine Jefferson. Hello, Janine.
Hi.
This is Holly Wickett. Hi, Holly.
Hi, Tim.
Two retired teachers. Well, retired principal, retired teacher.
Right.
Two different boards. You were Algoma Catholic,
Huron-Superior
Catholic District, and you were ADSB, Algoma District.
That's right.
Anyway, as if it wasn't enough having entire careers based on educating children and youth and taking care of our kids, you've gone on now in retirement to do the same in another continent.
Yes.
We have
Tumaini, Africa, with a K.
With a K.
Tell me about how this all started for you, Holly, because you were the first one. You corralled Janine in to join your ranks.
I did.
Tell me how it started.
I went over in 2014 with a group called Africa by Design Safaris.
Africa by Design Safaris. How'd you find them?
Well, Jane Douglas is an EA in the Huron Superior Board.
Educational assistant?
Yes, an educational assistant.
Good for me, okay.
And I met her. She was a parent from some kids at Cora.
Okay.
And she knew that I was interested in getting over to Africa. So she called me up, said, "Do you want to go?" Her sister-in-law is over there, and she arranges the trips.
Oh, her sister, is she the missionary?
Yes, her sister's a missionary. Her name is Lois Shaw, and that's who we go with.
Is
each
Lois
time.
originally from the Sioux too?
Yes, she is.
And she's a missionary in Africa?
Yes. Yeah.
And so she sets up these trips, but they are meant to be humanitarian trips. You are going with the purpose of helping out the residents of these villages.
Correct.
In this case, we've got some pictures coming up, but you see the conditions they're living in, and I understand why you want to help.
Yeah.
So you went over, you did 3 weeks.
Yeah, did 3 weeks. When I came back, I was terribly moved by it. I thought, I'm a billionaire living here compared to what it's like over there. So I happened to mention it to Diane Hilderly, who was a retired nurse, but at the time she was the interim director out at
She was at Arch.
At Arch,
right.
Yep. And her daughter had done some teaching in Tanzania, so she had an interest as well. And I said, we should do something. We need to raise some money. She said, okay, let's start a group. And we did.
So you and Diane started?
Yes.
Tumaini, Africa. Okay.
And we started recruiting people like Janine.
So, and you, it seems that you've got teachers and nurses just by nature because that's who started the group.
Yeah.
Janine, your background in education, were you prepared for what you were going to see over there? I mean, you were teaching kids.
I thought I was. Till I got there. And, you teach about, the kids that are poor and what can we do.
Right.
And there's poor here in the Sioux, and then there's poor over there, which is nothing like here.
Nothing like here. You said so you went over there and we went for a walk into one of the villages. Where in Africa are you? Not that I know. My geography is not great. I do know that Africa is huge, and you told me something I didn't know. The continent of Africa is
it was you that mentioned
it's in Kenya. We're in Kenya.
But the continent of Africa is actually larger than North America.
It's larger than North America. It doesn't show that on maps, but it actually is.
It's larger than North America. Yeah. It's a huge landmass. You were in the area of where did you say?
Kenya. On the east coast.
On the east coast of Africa. Okay. Yeah. Oh, there's the map. Look at this map now. Can you explain what we're seeing here?
Yes, that's a map by National Geographic, and the size, the heaviness of the countries indicate their wealth.
Their wealth.
So you can see the United States in the purple there, how big it is. You can see Russia and China. They're extremely big. The green one is China.
China's that rich?
Yeah, and then actually Japan is the far pink one over there.
They do pretty well too.
So if you can look in the middle, can you barely make out Africa?
Wait, that skinny little red thing?
Yes.
That's Africa.
And so when people say we have poor here, I say yes we do, and we all help here as well. But the poverty over there is incredible, and they don't have people like us who have money. They don't have soup kitchens. They don't have St. Vincent. And so they are in such need, and they live in such poverty.
So you went over and you were working with the school, and you were thinking about what else can we do? Because you let's talk a little bit about the school. Let's bring up some pictures here now, Jacob, of the school. I think we have an exterior shot, first of all. That, and you said it doesn't look like that.
Yeah.
Compass.
Compass is the name of the school.
Yeah, and it's a school for orphans
and refugees.
Yeah.
So the students there are all either orphaned or refugees.
Yes.
Parents.
You have to pay.
A lot of them don't.
You have to pay for schooling over in Kenya. So a lot of the children.
They have no
for
fees.
Kids?
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to pay for uniform. You have to pay for school supplies. You have to pay for your textbooks. And
they don't have any money.
And they don't. And a lot of kids are not in school.
So the first thing you want to do is get them there. So how do you get them there? Feed them. Once they're fed, because a lot of these kids,
starvation is a factor of life. A fact of
way
life.
to get them there. That's right.
So what kind of stuff do you feed them? I think we've got some pictures
They
too.
get their own food, which is rice, beans, a lot of that.
Oh, hey, this is the schoolyard,
peas.
right? Look at
Yep,
that.
we were dancing away on that one.
Yeah, it doesn't look very pretty.
Yeah.
What's the next one? I think that maybe this is in the class.
This is in the classroom.
Okay, this is Compass. This is the school.
That's inside. They were all there,
ceiling.
and we were at the front of the classroom. Tiles aren't even there. The redness that is all in their soil is on the walls, on the ceiling.
Oh, I see it.
On the kids.
What's next? I think the next one is probably you in front of the classroom.
Yeah.
Did they love when you come there?
They love it. They do a show for us, and then they'll say, "Do you dance?" I said, "Yeah, I do a little dance," and they'll laugh, and then they'll do their dance, which is a lot of shoulder.
Yeah.
And they'll chant, and it's just beautiful, and we bond.
Now, some of the things that you teach. Let's talk about some of the instruction. We can show the pictures again. There, Janine. There you are.
Yeah.
Teaching now. What you told me
This
is look
was
at the hands of
girls.
these. These are all girls.
These are all girls.
They all shave their heads.
A lot of the girls there, they're poor for one thing. Their self-esteem is low.
Yeah.
While I show this, why don't you explain the?
So you talk about hygiene.
Hygiene, empowerment, love, how to. Who you are,
the importance of
the way you're
education.
made.
You said they shave their heads because of cleanliness, right? Mm-hmm. Because they get lice and they don't have a lot of water.
They don't have a lot of clean water for getting clean.
And then so hygiene is a big thing where they're lacking.
Yeah.
So that brings us to this. Holly, explain.
I'll show.
About these you bring these kits with you.
We do.
For the ladies.
We fit as many as we can.
Yeah.
As many as we can.
So in the kit,
the first thing we do is we show them underwear. So in the kit are pairs of underwear. The girls start to ooh and ah and scream
because they don't
have underwear.
They don't have underwear.
You said when you talk about what this is, you're not allowed. You don't hold it down about your private
here,
parts. You hold it up
here.
That region is very sort of sacred to them.
Right. But you also have to show them where the crotch is of the underwear because
then we put this part.
Sanitary napkins.
They're all made.
Who makes these, guys?
Well, here in town, we have a local chapter of Days for Girls, it's called. It was started by Gubby Dulesky, who's part of our group, and she's a prof up at Sault College, and Gail Manley, another retired teacher.
Oh, I know Gail Manley.
Yes. Yeah. So once a month, women get together, not just women, men too, students.
Boys.
Boys get together, and they sew these.
Where?
Over at Zion Lutheran Church.
I know where that is.
They give us the auditorium there.
I've seen them there sewing,
Yes. And
they build kits.
Yeah. So
they get two liners,
these are
two of these.
These are the actual...
And then we show the women how to put them around. If it's a light day, you put one.
Yeah, if it's light day, you put one.
If it's a heavier day, you put two.
And you teach them all this. And they're all washable. They come with soap.
Yes. They wash.
That's something.
So again, then the girls can go to school all the time.
Explain that story about how they go.
Yeah. So girls over there miss a week of school a month.
Because they
have their periods and they can't leave really their places and they don't have the pads. They're too expensive to buy over there to get regular sanitary pads.
So now the girls don't miss school.
That's right.
You shouldn't be punished for your education because you're a woman.
And recently it was in the news, there was a young woman over there who had started her period at school, stained on her clothing, and she got shamed.
Oh, heavens.
After she was shamed, she went home and she killed herself. It was just tragic.
Real and
it's a real issue.
Let's show some more photos. Time is running out, so I want to get to some other pictures. We left off, I think, with Janine teaching. What's the next one? Okay, so you're doing the demonstration.
Doing a demonstration. That's her there.
And this is her translating it into Swahili.
Yeah. So that everybody understands. That's the room showing us that they understand what we're teaching.
And lots of men in the room, and they had to go home and explain their wives and the daughters.
That's good.
So on.
Feeding.
This feeding. This is again how to get them there.
Rice
you
and
get
peas.
them there. That they will.
We have a shot of how they eat. They don't use utensils.
No. Go to the next
you'll
shot
see them in the
and
next
you'll
shot. They're
see-
using their
there
fingers
you
to
go.
eat.
Well, they would have if they could afford utensils. They probably have them.
Wow.
But they can't.
Now I think we've got some pictures of. Oh, look at this! Is a nurse.
Yes.
Is that no a doctor?
A doctor, actually.
Lucy.
This is Dr. Lucy from the UK. She's been working in Kenya for a while. We were fortunate enough to get hold of her through again Jane Douglas's daughter, and
Because otherwise they wouldn't have medical attention.
no. So she came and examined all 110 young women and
At
men
that school.
and helped them at that
Janine,
school.
this is the day that changed your life a little
This
bit.
is
You were nearing the
I
end of
didn't
your
know.
stay?
Yes, we were looking at this school, and there's a wall around a lot of them.
Yes.
So we were, and it was this slum. This is the second
Show the next
largest
picture
slum.
of the
And
slum. You took this from a
was
rooftop.
incredible. We took a walk through there. This is where people live. It was what stayed with me so long, Tim, was
Yeah.
the stench, the smell. That night, I just sat in the van. You know, in my room afterwards, and I kept crying and crying. This is just not fair, and all because they were born there. And that's the one that clicked. I said, you know, this is just not fair.
Tell me about the
I'm going
goats.
back.
Look at you do this thing where we can buy a goat.
We can buy a goat.
I'm going to buy a goat.
That day they got one kit each.
Yeah.
We
how
showed
the
them how
goats
it
all
works,
lined up.
and then we give them a goat.
Okay, so how does that work? I can go online to www.tumainiafricassm.com.
SSM for
If you
Sault Ste. Marie.
If you Google Tumaini Africa, you'll find
With
your
a K.
website with a K.
Yeah.
Africa with a K.
Yeah.
It's on the board behind us.
Yeah.
You'll find this website, tumainiafricassm.com. And that's where you're going to get information on how to buy a goat.
Yes.
And when you
Goat
buy a
goes
goat,
a long way.
They're $50.
Yeah.
you buy a goat for $50, and then a family gets a goat, and they use the milk,
Yep.
and they can also eat the goat later.
And they make
The meat.
more goats.
And they can buy.
They make
Buy a
them.
Buy
male
two
and a
goats,
female
buy-
again.
and have baby goats.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so how do we? Oh, now you're doing a fundraiser. You're already sold
I
out.
wish I could talk about it, but we're sold out. But we did
So
this.
are you going to do it annually?
I think so.
A
This
taste of
is what
Kenya?
they seem to like. And,
I would like it. I'd
yeah.
like a Kenyan dinner.
Yeah, it is. The spices are so good. And last year, everybody went, "Oh my gosh, this is so good."
I'm glad
I
you're
think
sold
they were
out.
expecting rice. They didn't know what to expect.
And a dessert auction?
Dessert auction. We made a lot of money just with that. So what
Really?
they do is bid
So we
on
can't
whatever.
come to a taste of Kenya this year, but if you do it again next year, but in the meantime,
Yeah.
buy
Yes.
a goat.
Yes.
Wouldn't
yes.
that be a good
Chris,
idea?
Sheena Smith has been wonderful in doing the GOAT project.
And if anybody's interested in joining you guys and joining the
please,
mission,
please.
Yeah.
get a hold of you
Get a
through the
hold of us.
website.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We go over every 2 years, so
Every 2 years.
we fundraise throughout the year. We have garage
Oh, by the
sales.
way, we should also mention all this fundraising. They don't buy their airline tickets with that.
No.
These people
No.
spend their own money to
It's
get
all
themselves
for
there.
kids. Yeah.
All the money you earn goes right to the families,
kids.
to the villages, to
Yeah.
the kids.
Yeah.
We're
the
all
kids
volunteers, and all that
Yeah.
money goes right to them.
Janine Jefferson and Holly Wickett from Tumaini Africa with a K. Thanks for being here.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Oh, a
Thanks.
pleasure. Come back again when you have more updates for us.
Okay.
Love to.
Okay,
Great,
we'll be
Tim.
back with more of this on Mornings with Luann and Tim after this word from our sponsors.
This is On TV.
Hi, can I take your order? Hello?
Oh, hey. Wait, what was the question?
Let me guess. One driving high combo, extra baked?
No. Could I get a burger with a side of fries?
Think you're a better driver when you're high? Think again. If you smoked weed, wait at least 4 hours before getting behind the wheel, or don't drive at all if you're new to it, have eaten it, or if you've mixed it with alcohol.
Imagine knowing about incidents, closures, and road work all before starting your trip. Ontario 511 lets you know before you go. You can get real-time information directly from the Ministry of Transportation. Because the more you know, the easier it is for you to go. And spend the time doing the things that matter most.
Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, Betty White.
Aww.
Happy birthday to you, you're 98.
Oh my word, Betty. And looking awesome, still so much energy.
The longest working person in television history.
Wow.
She started working in television when television first became television. Like, she was there when they very first started broadcasting.
Imagine the stories she has.
Remember I told you the stories about how they did the live show where they would sit and play music and they would just sit and converse?
Yes.
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah.
There she is, 98. Here's a quote from Betty White. I've always liked older men. They're just more attractive to me. Of course, at my age, there aren't that many of them left. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Bet.
Classy, classy.
Yes, very,
She
always.
said, I like body humor, not dirty humor. Yeah.
Ooh, body as in
B-A-W-D-Y, yeah. Okay, listen,
I thought you meant body for a second. I went, like finger or what?
I have not in the past been a huge fan of Eminem, mostly because I'm not a huge fan of that kind of music.
Right. I don't
Nothing
listen
against
much either.
Eminem or Marshall Mathers, that's his name, right?
No, right.
But surprise, Marshall Mathers fans are shocked. He just brought a new album out. The album is called, inspired by Alfred Hitchcock, the album is called Music to be Murdered By.
Oh.
Right. It's his 11th studio album. It's got 20 tracks. Guests include, now I don't know many of these people, Juice WRLD, Royce da 5'9", Anderson .Paak, Ed Sheeran, that one I know.
Oh, yes.
And Skylar Grey. Anyway, inspired by Hitchcock, he's looking I think he's looking very handsome. He's got his hair grown in like brown. He's got a beard now.
Oh.
I never found Eminem that attractive, but I think he's looking pretty good now, Marshall. Anyway, here's what he's doing with this album. There's a track on it that's called Darkness, and it's about gun control.
Oh.
But he uses basically it's the story of the gentleman who was in Las Vegas in 2017 and committed the mass murders.
Those people at the country music.
He's in a hotel room as Marshall Mathers, as you see. This is him wearing the hoodie, and at a critical time in the video, you see the crowds and the country music, and did you see that? Oh my gosh! He pulls the hoodie off and he turns from Marshall Mathers into a lookalike of the gentleman who committed the
that was murder. Eerie.
It's okay, Luann. Beyond that, it gets even more graphic.
Does it?
Smashes the hotel window out. He reenacts basically what the guy was going through, and he's talking about the darkness, but it's very impactful. It's definitely triggering it would be a trigger for some people. It's quite, but impactful. And here are some of the lyrics. This is where it's about gun control. Leaning out the window, going Kaiser Soze, which I believe Kaiser Soze is a reference to The Usual Suspects. The character of the crime boss was named Kaiser Soze.
Oh,
I think it was Kevin Spacey played him. Leaning out the window, going Kaiser Soze, finger on the trigger, but I'm a licensed owner with no prior convictions, so loss, the sky's the limit. So my supply's infinite, strapped like I'm a soldier.
Oh,
He's talking about the availability of guns in the U.S. and how this is part of the problem. But the video itself is so disturbing, but I gotta tell you, I listened to the song and I enjoyed it.
How are people reacting, or are they yet?
I haven't seen that. I just saw it myself.
Because it's brand new.
Yeah.
It's very, very harsh.
It's very dark. It's called Darkness. And it's kind of almost from the mind of the killer. And there's a lot of double entendres. It's very clever, but very dark and disturbing. But I guess that's what he went for on this.
Right.
So anyway, Eminem. I kind of have
developing a little bit.
I don't know. I suddenly have a thing where I'm like, I didn't hate it.
A little respect
I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I got to tell you. Hey, okay, now it's time for the news.
It is, yes, and I'll have all of the news, both locally, provincially, regionally, internationally. I'm all over the place.
You're busy.
I am. I'm exhausted, too. Stay tuned. We have news right after this.
Government of Ontario established a $100 million affordability fund to help Ontarians who don't qualify for low-income conservation programs ease the burden of their electricity bill. Whether you rent or own your home, as long as you pay your electric bill, you could qualify. There are 3 levels of support available. The first is a home energy kit with upgrades like smart power bars and LED light bulbs. The second includes Energy Star appliances that help keep things cool during the hot summer months. The third is for electrically heated homes so that your power bills don't break the bank during those long Canadian winters. Plus, all upgrades, including installation, are completely free of charge. Visit affordabilityfund.org or call 1-855-494-FUND to find out if you qualify.
Big low pressure promises to bring a mixed bag of snow or rain and is approaching the Great Lakes for this weekend. And it looks like the Soo will be on the snowy side of the storm. Much like the system last week that brought a lot of snow to parts of the area and record-breaking rain to the south, the Soo actually dodged most of that storm. This storm is tracking more northerly, and there's a good chance it will impact the area. Environment Canada has issued a special weather statement for Agua, Lake Superior Park, Sault Ste. Marie St. Joseph Island, Searchmont, Montreal River Harbor, and Batchewana Bay. Expect watches and warnings to appear tomorrow. Total snowfall amounts of 15 to 25 centimeters are expected tomorrow through Sunday morning. Strong winds up to 50 kilometers an hour will create areas of local blowing snow tomorrow afternoon. The snow will then ease to light flurries by Sunday morning. The U.S. Senate overwhelmingly approved a new North American trade agreement yesterday that rewrites the rules of trade with Canada and Mexico and gives President Donald Trump a major policy win.
This is a major step for our whole country. In the 26 years since the ratification of NAFTA, trade with Mexico and Canada has come to directly support 12 million American jobs. 12 million workers and their families who depend on robust trade with our North American neighbors. Our neighbors to the north and south purchase $500 billion in American goods and services every single year.
A national organization representing Inuit women in Canada is calling for a radical shift in the way police work is done in the North in light of findings in a new report released yesterday that has uncovered systemic racialized policing in the Arctic. The authors hone in on actions of police officers responding to cases of domestic violence in these regions, with women sharing they are often not believed when reporting abuse. Inuit women from the Arctic took part in a panel yesterday in Ottawa, highlighting their concerns about policing and ideas for how to improve services.
Regions are policed by the RCMP. And in Nunavut, there are 150 RCMP officers. Only 5 of them are Inuit. And not all those 5 speak Inuktitut. To understand the culture and traditions, let alone deal with people in crisis. It doesn't work if you don't know the language or understand the culture and tradition.
You start to recognize too where the call is coming from, what house the call is coming from, and if the call is coming from that house over and over and over, they kind of tend to ignore it. Even though we're happy that we got police, there's still a lot of work to be done for that relationship to be established and to be a trusting relationship.
The Canadian Association of Petroleum Producers says it's pleased but not surprised by the Supreme Court ruling that shut down BC's attempt to regulate what can flow through an expanded Trans Mountain pipeline. CEO and president of Canada's largest oil and gas industry association, Tim McMillan, says the project has undergone historic levels of consultation, reviews, and court challenges. He says it has been found to be in the best interest interests of Canadians. The BC government wanted to require provincial permits before heavy oil could be shipped to the province through pipelines from Alberta. The Supreme Court decision upholds a BC Court of Appeal ruling that said such permits would violate Ottawa's authority under the Constitution to approve and regulate pipelines that cross provincial boundaries. Pickup truck slammed into an Illinois Starbucks yesterday, injuring several people and causing massive damage to the coffee shop. Police told the Associated Press that the driver and 4 people inside the cafe were injured. 3 of them were transported to the hospital, while the other 2 were released at the scene. Police also said it wasn't known why the full-sized pickup ran off the roadway 50 miles northwest of Chicago and collided with the building. He said the roof of the building collapsed.
A message from the Government of Canada.
At Fit Bodies, Fit Minds, we want everyone to build a life that they love, and we teach you how to get the results you want in your mind and your body. Introducing our new small group classes to provide you with a happy and healthier life. Our small group classes are limited to 6 people to provide more personal coaching, while having the supportive group environment. Classes are 10 weeks, and each week you will receive fitness and nutritional guidance that are tailored to your needs. Fit Bodies, Fit Minds, we inspire you to move.
Welcome back to Mornings with Luann and Tim. I am on location at St. Mary's College with Kylie Esposito. Hi, Kylie. How you doing?
Hi, Tim. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. You are in grade what?
11 at St. Mary's.
Grade 11 at St. Mary's. And the reason you and I are here today is because we are celebrating the success of this year's Heaven Sent campaign. Now, Kylie, I'll tell you, I remember... Gosh, it's got to be back in the early 90s probably when I first heard about Heaven Sent. Bob Denham was a teacher at St. Mary's College. He actually taught me at the old St. Mary's on the hill where the cross was. He was my English teacher, I think grade 12 anyway. And so I knew Bob, and it didn't surprise me that he started this Heaven Sent campaign. The concept back then was giving pennies, right?
Yeah, and since the pennies have been discontinued, then the nickels have taken over, and lots of people are donating nickels now.
And can people donate more if they want to? I mean, do you get other coin denominations? Do people donate dollars too sometimes, or what?
Oh yeah, like of course people donate more than like $20 sometimes. It's an awesome charity.
Wow, very generous. Now the money that you raise, like this is the total right now, $19,908 in 1 month.
Yes, in 1 month, and we're still raising more money today.
Incredible. And I was talking to Mr. Zopp, your vice principal, yeah, and he was saying that consistently since you moved into this building, the new St. Mary's College here on Second Line, that it's been about $20,000 every year.
Yeah, and every year it keeps getting more and more, and it's actually incredible to see.
Do you have an idea of what the running total might be since Mr. Denham originally started this thing in the 90s to where we are now, about how much has been raised?
About like $400,000 have been raised.
Can you believe that? Almost $500,000. And where does that money go? Does it stay locally or where?
Yeah, it goes to families in like that are local in Sault Ste. Marie and non-profitable charities.
Non-profit charities. Do you have a list of some of the charities? Now, I guess we should find out, how does a charity get to receive some of the funds from the Heaven Sent campaign? What's the process for a charity in case anybody's out there is interested?
The charity will email our principals, and they will ask to have the money, and they'll state what they want to do the money with. Yeah.
Okay. So do you have an example this year of who's receiving some of the funds from Heaven Sent then?
Yeah. Women in Crisis have received $1,000, and the Soup Kitchen, St. Vincent's Place, the Pregnancy Center, and the Algoma Autism Foundation.
Wow. They're all recipients thus far. Yeah. Will there be more people receiving as we go, or are those the ones who are those the sole organizations this year?
These are the sole organizations this year, but we have also donated to other charities as well, other organizations, and so which is like the Special Ed Bowling Tournament and the SMC Breakfast Program and many things like that.
Oh, Mr. Zopp was telling me about what's it called? Is it Helping Hands, Caring Hearts? Tell me about that one.
Yes. So if a teacher in the school doesn't have a pair of boots or something like that,
what do you mean, a student?
Student, yes. Sorry, not a teacher. So if they don't have a pair of boots, then the principals or teachers, they will choose, like they'll go out and buy them, and then they'll just get reimbursed afterwards with the money from the foundation.
From the foundation. And it's my understanding then that the teachers then also, through the Helping Hands, Caring Hearts, they made a donation also to Heaven Sent, right?
Yes, they have. Most teachers always do that, yeah.
Wow, that's great. Hey, okay, let's talk about some of the events you had where you did specific fundraising for Heaven Sent. I think you mentioned something about a hockey game that sounded like a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, so there's a student-teacher hockey game which involves the grade 12 students in St. Mary's and the teachers, and this year we had the most amount of girls that played, which was 8 out of all of the years that we did it.
Wow, okay, and the thing about this tournament that I think is really interesting is there are certain rules about who can participate, because they don't necessarily want all the ringers from the hockey teams playing, so who gets to participate?
So everybody except for the SMC hockey team and the junior A players.
See, Mr. Zopp said he thinks that's because it's nice to include everybody, but basically I think they just want to reduce the competition so the teachers have a better chance of winning, frankly. But anyway, no, that's a great event too. Any other events where you really pushed for the Heaven Sent donations to be given?
Mr. SMC is a really good donator, and it raised probably the most money this year.
Wait, what is that? What's Mr. SMC?
There's about 15 bachelors that get picked out of the grade 12 guys, and they put on a show for all of us to see.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's fun. So you really make it an interactive, spirit-centered, sort of motivational thing where you're raising this money. It's fun, right?
Yeah, there's lots of interactive activities, like lots of students get involved, and there's like many other student-teacher games like the volleyball, basketball, soccer, so it's really interactive.
And there's always somebody present then from Heaven Sent saying, hey, donate, right?
Yeah, they have a committee, a Heaven Sent committee, and there's a bunch of students that just sign up for different events that they're interested in, and then there's teachers that run that event, they pick the people, and then they go from there.
And they collect the funds. Now, I'm going to hold this up again. Adoption, action, and alms are 3 of the things. There's so many facets to this campaign. I think it's phenomenal. Tell me about the adoption aspect. What does that mean in terms of Heaven Sent?
So the adoption part of the Heaven Sent is we adopt children and families that are in need of like clothes or toys during the season, and this year we adopted 75 families.
Really?
Yes.
And did you tell me you actually went shopping for some of the gifts?
Yes. Some classes we went to Walmart and we shopped. We spent $100 roughly on everybody, and we bought them stuff that they needed that was on their list that they wanted.
That's okay. First of all, that's fun because you're spending money that isn't yours. But also, it must make you feel great thinking, if I were a kid, I would really like this, right?
Yeah, you got to walk around Walmart saying, yeah, so when I was a kid, I wanted these pink Uggs, and you bought them for them instead.
That's fantastic. Okay, so now, action. There's a couple of things that really blew me away with what you did this year as far as action goes. Tell me about the Christmas cards.
Okay, so for the Christmas cards, we made 1,050 Christmas cards and gave them to the residents of nursing homes, yeah.
So you guys sent 1,050 Christmas cards to local seniors to brighten their holidays. That's fantastic. Hey, tell me about another action item from the Heaven Sent campaign.
So there is multiple grade 12 religion classes that went to Harvest Algoma. And
right, that's United Way.
Yes, yeah. And they went and they peeled apples and...
Did they do pumpkins and something?
Yeah, pumpkins, and they made squash and apple cider out of them.
So they actually helped in the kitchen then at the Harvest Algoma, creating meals for people who are, for soup kitchens and stuff like that, for the food kitchens, food banks.
Yeah, so they helped out a lot, actually. It was an incredible donation on their part.
Okay, and the final thing I see here is alms, which obviously is the money, right?
Yes.
So, Are you going to be involved again next year? Because you're in grade 11 now. You got one more year. Are you inspired to continue working with this Heaven Sent campaign?
Yes, it's an awesome charity, and I love helping out with it. I've helped out with it since grade 9.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
Every year?
Every year I have.
All right. Well, listen, this check for $19,908 is it's a shining example of what youth can do in our community and what they can do here at St. Mary's College with their spirit and their passion and their caring for their fellow man. It's a wonderful thing, Kylie. Thanks for taking the time to join me. We'll come back again next year and talk about the campaign. And if I get any updates from Mr. Zopp on the amounts, I'll let the people know, okay?
All right, sounds great.
Okay, get back to class.
I will.
Okay.
Recently, the Government of Ontario established a $100 million affordability fund to help Ontarians who don't qualify for low-income conservation programs ease the burden of their electricity bill. Whether you rent or own your home, as long as you pay your electric bill, you could qualify. There are 3 levels of support available. The first is a home energy kit with upgrades like smart power bars and LED light bulbs. The second includes Energy Star appliances that help keep things cool during the hot summer months. The third is for electrically heated homes so that your power bills don't break the bank during those long Canadian winters. Plus, all upgrades, including installation, are completely free of charge. Visit affordabilityfund.org or call 1-855-494-FUND to find out if you qualify.
M-I-C-K-E-Y. Mickey Mouse. This cat's name is Mickey Mouse. Why'd you call a cat Mickey Mouse?
We kind of run out of names sometimes.
It's Laura, everybody, from the Humane Society. Thanks for coming back to the show, Laura.
Good morning.
Okay, so Mickey Mouse.
He likes Mickey Mouse.
You have had this cat for way too long.
Yeah, we've had this little guy since October.
You guys, this cat is only, 6 months?
He's about 8 months now.
8 months now. Do you remember how you first got him?
He was just in our after hours box.
Okay. He's gorgeous.
He's absolutely gorgeous.
Can you show his belly to this camera? Look at his markings. Look at his beautiful white belly and his little white toes. What's the story with Mickey Mouse?
Well, he's not overly good at selling himself because he's extremely hyper.
So he's a cat that's going to be a lot of fun.
He's a fun. I find him a fun cat. Like, we were playing hide and seek and stuff. And he's a riot.
I was asking Laura about the relationship that she forges with the animals and whether they become attached to her. So tell a little bit about what it's like. Look at that.
Yeah, they become attached.
Tell a little bit about what it's like when you're not at work and what your co-workers notice.
Sometimes, if you do, we all forge bonds with them, especially when we've had them this long, and they'll act not themselves. They'll act quiet, sort of sleepy, and then they perk right back up.
When you had a couple of days off, you come back and the animals are happy to see you again.
Yeah.
See, that's a feeling that I love. I love feeling that an animal loves me.
I know, it's rewarding.
When the tails wag, or you can tell when they're
because we can't communicate to them other than our actions with them.
Right. So people come in and when, like you said, when you have him around the back, you guys have fun, you play games, whatever. But when people come in to see him, oftentimes he just spins.
He's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because he's a kitten with a lot of pent up energy. He's been in a cage since October.
See, that's aww.
And he hated a cage to begin with. He actually used to have a beautiful meow. Which now sounds like a little froggy because he's lost his voice.
He's lost his voice from meowing.
There's probably potentially permanent damage to his vocal cords from him being upset in a cage.
In a cage, because you don't belong in a cage. You belong on a couch. or in a bed.
And then unfortunately for him, he ended up with the upper respiratory and he had a hard time shaking it. And probably because he's so stressed being in a cage.
And I mean, that much time in a kennel, in a facility with other animals, he gets the what do you call that, an upper respiratory infection?
Yeah, upper respiratory.
But that's cleared up.
Oh yeah, he's been great for months now.
Healthy.
But I mean, again, he's a hard sell because you let him out and he's like, yay, freedom, and he just runs around.
So ideally then, somebody who's got time to spend with a cat and have fun, who likes to play. If you
Even with kids.
He's good with cats?
Absolutely. He doesn't like other cats.
Okay.
I mean, eventually he might be able to, but he's just never really been exposed. So.
Right.
But with kids, he'd be a fantastic kids cat because kids like to play with their pets.
And he's got the energy to play with a kid.
Well, you know those cat wands? He's hilarious. He does backflips and rolls and...
He's just a playful little guy.
Yeah, he's behaving. He's on his best behavior right now.
He really, I mean, and you said that he traveled well?
He did travel really well. I mean, there was a little bit of meowing because he's in a confined space.
Right.
Which we know he hates.
Oh, but he's been purring ever since you got him here. Okay, he has to get fixed, or has he been fixed?
We actually did go ahead and get him fixed ahead of time.
Because you've had him now for it.
Feature.
Extra selling feature.
Yeah, he's ready to go. Just same day, whenever.
Same day, come in and get him.
Yeah. And I mean, he does have the potential to be calmer once his energy is expelled. Like you see, this is pretty good.
And he's still a baby.
And he is still a baby.
Okay, so the adoption fee is what?
$90.
And that's everything's done. He's shots.
Yeah, he just needs his rabies shot.
Just rabies shot. That's it. How many cats do you have right now? Are you still overwhelmed, or
We're
what?
still overwhelmed with cats. Our dogs right now is about on par with season, but the cats we're still overwhelmed. We have not had a slowdown.
Oh, I love this cat. He's so gentle.
He's
so gentle. Oh, you guys, come on! Somebody get in there and adopt Mickey Mouse and give him a better name. Well, I guess you can call him Mickey.
Yeah, I mean,
because you said he is actually answering to his name now. He knows his name. So maybe leave it Mickey.
You can always change a name easily. Just start throwing on what you want to change it to.
Call him Hickey House. Laura, thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
You're open this weekend?
We are 12 to 5, Saturday and Sunday.
Okay. I hope you feel better. Laura came in with a migraine today. Go home and rest and take care of yourself. And he'll see you on Monday. No, hopefully he'll be gone on Monday.
Hopefully he'll be gone.
Get rid of him. Make Laura better. Make Laura feel better. Okay. We'll be back with Luann right after this. Thanks again.
No problem.
It's hunting season, so this is probably pretty stupid, right? Actually, hunting accidents kill somewhere around 2 people a year in Ontario. Smoking kills 16,000 a year. So, what's really stupid?
And that's it for our show today already.
It certainly is, and it's Friday. That's it for our week already.
Yay.
Hey, have a great weekend.
That cat you just fell in love with, right?
I did. Because you know what? When I went to play with him, he touched my hand, went, he's so gentle. Please adopt him, Mickey Mouse. And please have a wonderful weekend.
Mickey Mouse.
And please come back and join us on Monday. And thanks to KC Security, I did everything today.
You did so.
I did all the goodbyes.
You did all the goodbyes. Good for you. Goodbye.